Hi everyone and welcome back, and in this video we're going to be looking at one-step division equations. So it means you're going to be learning how to solve one-step division equations. Now generally division is the operation that looks like this, right? But sometimes you may not see a division sign. So for example, if you look at these equations here, you don't see any division sign anywhere, but you see fractions. So why are they calling these equations division equations? Well, that's because if you have any fraction means to divide. So for example, if I had the fraction 10 over 5, this actually means 10 is divided by 5. Okay, so whatever is in the numerator, that's what you start with. And the line, that's the fraction line, that actually means divide, and the denominator is what you're dividing by. Okay, so fraction also means that we are dividing. Now generally whenever you have a fraction in an equation, so if you have fractions like this, is if you have one fraction on both sides of the equal to side, on both sides of the equal sign. Like for example, you can see there's one number here, it can be changed into a fraction, so we can write 6 as 6 over 1. So you can see we've got one fraction here and one fraction there. And same with this question, you've got one fraction on the left hand side and you've got a second fraction. Remember, 7 is also 7 over 1. And same here, you got z over 4 is one fraction on the left hand side, and 2 over 3 is another fraction. And the same with question 8, you've got a half, which is one fraction on the left hand side of the equal to sign, and w8 is another fraction on the right hand side of the equal to sign. Right, then what we do is, when you have one fraction on both sides, the easiest way to solve it is to use the butterfly method. Okay, now what does the butterfly method mean? So let's look at that. Right, so it means we're actually literally drawing butterfly wings. So there's the first wing of the butterfly. I generally always start the wing wherever I see the variable. So here the variable is j. Remember, variable means the letter that we use whenever there's a missing number. So in this example, j is the variable. In question 6, you can see k is the variable. In question 7, you can see z is the variable. And in question 8, you can see w is the variable. So when they say solve, we are actually finding that what number should be in place of that variable. So we start multiplying on the first wing of the butterfly, right? So we're going to look first at what is 1 times j, or what is j times 1. Now we know anything times 1 stays the same, so j times 1 or 1 times j is just j. And then 6 times 8 is 48. So question 5 is quite straightforward. So you're getting the answer that j is equal to 6 times 8, which is 48. And so you've solved for j. And we know, if you want to check it, 48 divided by 8, yes, it is 6, because 8 times 6 is 48. If you go to the next question, we're now going to multiply on this wing first. So k times 1 is k, and 7 times 7 is 49. So let's do the butterfly method here. So k times 1 is just k, and 7 times 7 is 49. So that's what we're solving for k. So we don't need to go any further than this. K is just 49. And if you test it, you can see that 49 divided by 7 is 7, because you know 7 times 7 is 49. Right, let's come to number 7. You can see here on this butterfly wing, 3 times z, or z times 3, we're going to first multiply, and then 2 times 4, we're going to multiply on the second wing. So the first wing is z times 3. Now we never write z times 3. We always start with the number first. So we'll always write it as 3z and not Z3. Okay, so we cannot write a variable first and then the number. We always write the number first and then the variable whenever you multiply a number and a variable. So it's 3Z, not Z3. So Z times 3 is actually 3Z, and then 4 times 2 is on the second butterfly wing equals 8. But remember, now we are finding for Z, not 3Z. So just remember 3Z, if you looked at the previous videos of multiplication, 3Z actually means 3 times Z. And so this has become a multiplication equation. So if you just want to find Z, right, you can say, okay, 3 times what is equal to 8. But we know in the 3 times tables, 3 times nothing can give you 8. So because we can't use that method, we now got to get rid of the 3, and we're going to take it over to the other side so that we only have Z on this side. And we want to say what is Z equal to. Okay, now 8 is already there, so we're going to write the 8. And instead of multiplying it by the 3, we're going to do the inverse operation to solve a multiplication equation. So to solve this, we're going to now do the opposite of multiplication is to divide. So it's going to be Z is equal to 8 divided by 3. And remember, all divisions are actually fractions. So this can be written as 8 over 3. Right? And remember, whenever you have an answer that is a fraction, always check, can I simplify it? And you can see 8 and 3 can't divide by anything. That is a common number. But it can also change into a mixed number whenever the numerator is bigger than the denominator. Right? Then that means it's going to change into a mixed number. Mixed number means it will have a whole number as an answer and a fraction for the remainder. So 8 divided by 3 actually means how many groups of 3 can we make with 8? So if you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we have 8. So we want to make groups of 3 with 8. So you can see we can make 2 whole groups of 3. And we got 2 is the remainder. So the remainder goes in the fraction. So it'll be 2 there over, and we use the same denominator, 3. And so 8 over 3 is actually equal to 2 and 2/3. I hope you remember that because we did that previously as well. Right, looking at question 8. Now we're going to look at this wing. 2 times 4 is 2W. And 8 times 1 is 8. Now we want to solve this. We want to find what is W. Now 2W means 2 times W. So you can ask yourself 2 times what equals to 8. Now because this does work in the 2 times tables, we know 2 times 4 is 8. So in this case, we know W is definitely equal to 4. Whereas compared to the previous question, you know 3 times nothing gave you 8. That's why we had to do this method to solve it. But because now 2 times 4 does equal to 8, so we can see clearly that the W is equal to 4, not 8 there. Sorry, is equal to 4. Okay, and that's how you would solve equations with fractions. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.